So, welcome to the Kickass Midlife Method podcast, and I'm joined by some women from the community. And today's discussion is about the power of consistency. So, we're kind of doing this at the moment, beginning of January, when most people are still feeling really powered up by their goals, wanting to get fit, wanting to eat more healthily. But if you've been there before, then often you know that that kind of motivation can often wane. So this discussion is about these 5 simple systems that you can put in place to help you achieve progression and achieve that consistency, because the consistency is the single most important factor in terms of progression and seeing change. It's not the intense January quick fix things. It's about the consistency of doing the stuff over and over again. So most people lose milk because they can't do it. It's also not because they're too busy. It's not because they're too tired, or that in their eyes, they're a failure. It really is just about having the right systems in place. I've got loads of systems in place. I'm not more motivated than you guys. I haven't got more willpower. I deliberately put in place structures so I don't actually have to rely on willpower. So this is what we're going to go through in this 20-minute presentation. Just simple systems, simple steps that you can embed that will help you succeed in your nutrition, fitness, and kind of work-life goals. So I don't know whether any of you have heard of Mel Robbins, but I really agree with this to overcome procrastination. So put a 2 in the chat if you've ever missed anything in the morning because you wake up and you just think, oh, I'm going to roll over and go back to bed. Or if you don't do your workout in the morning, for instance, and you do it at lunchtime, and you think, I'm gonna schedule it in, and then other work thing comes up and you just think, I've just finished this bit, and you procrastinate and suddenly you've missed your workout, and then it's all too easy to kind of forget. Yeah. So put a 2 in. Yeah, quite a lot of you there. So the Mel Robbins, if you don't know about Mel Robbins, give her a follow. She's really good at what she does. So when you start recognizing that procrastination, or even before you start recognizing it's even procrastination, the minute you start thinking, oh, there's a kind of thought in your brain of like, oh, maybe I'll just have 5 minutes more in bed, and oh, I'm up early, I've got loads of work, maybe I should just use this window now to catch up on work. The minute that happens, count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then go. So this, studies show this helps disrupt that pattern of procrastination and really shortcuts that decision-making process. Because to a certain extent, we're all intelligent women here, and sometimes you can just think too much about something. So actually, sometimes there's a benefit to not thinking at all and just literally using that pattern of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then just doing whatever it was that you had scheduled to do, and not letting anything get in your way. So obviously examples are when you wake up and you go back to sleep again, as I was saying, scheduling your lunchtime workout and you've missed your window. Maybe going food shopping at like a certain time, and then you keep pushing it back and you go food shopping later on, by which point you're absolutely starving. Or you say, right, I'm going to have my meal at X amount of time, and then again you say, right, I'm going to just finish this bit of work. I'm just is the kind of the sentence there. So use that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 rule and just go. So I'd like tomorrow in the group, and I'll remind you to share what you're going to do to use that, an example of when you use it. So I'd like to see you all use that tomorrow at some point in the group. And then habit stacking. So if you've been part of the program before, we've spoken about this before. It's about that anchoring new habits to something that you already do. So, all our daily behavior is habitual. So if you are really damn good at sitting down in front of the TV after work with a glass of wine, then you can be equally as really good about sitting down in front of the TV and having a glass of water, or having something different, because it really is just a habit and you've built up that habit. The examples are biscuit with coffee, crisps with a pint of lager, red wines finish off work, all of those things. So by you can build consistency to a new habit by attaching a new habit to an old habit. So these could be habits that are already healthy and you're stacking another healthy habit on it, or it can be a habit that's not so great for you, for your health and your consistency of a good healthy habits, and you can stack something onto that. So for instance, when you're in within the group, we've got the kind of drink a glass of water as soon as you get up, before you have your coffee, before you have anything else. So you can stack that straight after brushing your teeth, for instance, when you go to sit down and watch TV, stack if your crisp or your wine, stack it with like I'm going to have an apple first, or I'm going to have a naked those real fruit nut bars, protein bars, and then yeah, if you still want the other thing, have it, but try to stack these healthier habits on top of that. Handful of greens with every meal for your gut microbiome to increase your fiber. Your protein shake, every time you reach for your usual cake or chocolate biscuit at 3 in the afternoon, have your protein shake instead. I still do this, and I've been having my protein shake in the afternoon for well over a year now. And I'll still sometimes be 3 o'clock. God, I'm really like bored, or I'm really tired, or I need to do something, and I'll go into the kitchen and I have to remind myself to have the protein shake, because your instant reaction is like, what do I need to have my energy to fill that kind of boredom factor? And actually, you stack that immediate thought process should be to go to the protein shake. And again, if you have your protein shake and after that you think, I still want that cookie, have the cookie. But bit by bit, this builds consistent, becomes a new behavior. So in the chat, just to make sure you're all still listening, give me a 3 if you had your protein shake this morning. Oh yeah, Mandy, yeah. So give me a 3. Let's be honest. Who's had a protein shake this afternoon? Well done. 3. Any more? Any more? 4, 5. How many people are on this call? Protein but no shake. So yeah, so get that protein. We're going to go into something else on that point actually. So the protein shake makes the difference to ensure you're actually eating enough protein. So yeah, going on from that is setting up visual cues. So a lot of the reason we end up probably making poor choices in our health, or not doing the things that we know we've set out that we want to do because it makes us feel good. Exercising makes us feel good. Eating nutritious foods gives us energy. Helps us sleep better, it makes us feel good, but often we still, even though there are real goals around we want to do them, we still don't do them. And it's often because we're so tired from work and our head and minds is filled with all the stuff you've got to do outside of work. Usually nothing to do with what you've got to do for yourself, is all to do with other people, other things you've got to do. So the easiest way to help you is not about willpower. It really is just about setting up your environment so that actually you're taking away the element, that fatigue element of decision making about how do I do it? What do I do? When do I do it? Just set up visual cues. Literally, you can put post-it notes. I know this is a really old-fashioned one that's been around in magazines for years, but instead of a post-it note on your fridge or the mirror about your goal, losing X amount of weight, building X amount of muscle, whatever that is, put on your mirror or your fridge what it is that you want to feel, like that feeling you have when you feel really healthy, how that makes you feel, and put that there instead. That kind of cue straight away that reminds you of what it is to help you kind of make that decision easier for you. And then talking about more visual cues, going back to the protein shake. So I know I hear this from people all the time. Like, I'm at work, I keep forgetting to take the protein shake. I don't know how to take the protein shake. So invest in a protein shaker. The Form one, which is the protein powder that I recommend, actually has this really good shaker, and it has a storage system in it that allows you to take X amount of protein powder in the storage part of the container, and then it also has the shaker. So you can just take that in your bag to work or leave it on your desk at work for a couple of days, and then use it at work if you're working away from home, which some of us are increasingly now. It's really easy, and it just means that you're much more likely to have it. And then things like tracking your water and your healthy habits. So setting up that streak on the app and looking back. So if you've got your phone on you and you haven't you're not using it to screen this call, you should be able to go into your profile and you'll see how many days you've kept up that healthy habit streak. At the moment, well, I'm running a 14-day leaderboard challenge where you're getting points for every healthy habit you tick off. So all of you've got healthy habits on your calendar. Some of them are different from other people's, but all of you, I think you've got the water one. So tick them off because you're creating that kind of accountability, a little bit like if any of you have done Duolingo. That really works for me because you see this kind of gamification of the streak and it helps you to keep accountable. For some of you will know this, some of you won't know this, but for the last 9 years, every January, I've run a global running challenge where I've invited women to run every day of January. These are women often who've never run before. It's taken place all over Europe, and I've helped, I think, over 6,000 women run every day of January in the worst weather. And often it's that streak which is the fundamental difference, because you get to a certain number of days and you think, well, what is the point of missing the next day and ruining that streak? So look back on your app, use that what's on the app to keep that streak going. Those really simple things are just those little small wins about tracking your water, making sure you drink enough water, because that fundamentally will help improve your energy, your cognitive function, which in and of itself will help that decision making and take away that kind of sense of fatigue. Yeah, so who's done their water? Let's see, who's had 8 glasses of water? Give me a 5 if you have, 6 if you haven't. Yeah, good. So says you got to go and guzzle some more water by the sounds of it. Um, and then schedule it. Now, you've heard me say this before, but schedule every Sunday. I actually now, every kind of 2 days, I'm scheduling stuff into my Gmail calendar every single day, 2 days, from my work stuff to my workouts, because I don't live in a gym. I'm not a kind of gym bunny that's living on the gym floor and working in a gym environment. I'm working a laptop as well, programming stuff, writing stuff, and work can overwhelm me as well. So I have to book in my workouts. I'm training for a marathon as well. So I've got my running and I've got my strength workouts, and I've got to make sure I'm eating correctly for all of that, just like you guys. And the easiest way for me to do it is to schedule it into my calendar. And therefore, you can't just schedule it and then kind of let it go and then think, oh, well, it's useless because I've missed it now. Go back to that number one, that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, schedule it. When it gets to like kind of 15 minutes before, do your 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and go and do it. Try not to think of it. Once you start diarising things, you can, avoid that feeling of like, oh God, it's another thing I've got to do. Scheduling stuff does take time. I'm not gonna lie to you. It absolutely does take a little bit of time to sit down and just, 10 minutes a day, look upon your day and schedule everything in. But you know that exercising makes you feel really good. Eating the right stuff makes you feel really good. Doing the stuff you say you're going to do makes you feel really good. And therefore, it's not another thing that you've just got to tick off. It's actually going to make you feel good. So remember that when you put that in your diary and when it approaches that kind of appointment time, to go and do it, and it will make you feel good. So if that process is in place, I promise you, you will progress more and you'll be able to stick to being more consistent than if you don't kind of plan it in. So I see it a lot with those runners I've coached in the past where I use training peaks, and every time they do their workout, it turns green. If they don't do it, it turns red. If they half do it, it turns orange. And that, it's scheduled, it's in the diary. Turning green, that also really helps to make you feel really good about sticking to what you said you were going to do. And then the last one is really about celebrating the small wins. I saw something on, I think it might have been the Body Coach's Instagram, kind of around January, where he'd borrowed something that someone else had posted about every day writing a tiny little note and almost putting it in a jar or something. And at the end of the year, or even at the end of the week, just pulling out all these little wins that you've achieved during the week to remind yourself of all the great stuff you're doing. In the kind of in the January thing, you can sometimes get overwhelmed and think, oh, I've got to do achieve some massive win in terms of my weight loss or my strength gains. Celebrate every small wins because they will stack up consistently day in, day out, and you'll progress further. So whether it's celebrating even doing your workout, that is a win in my book. If you've done your workout, even if you've done your workout and it's 10 minutes, I'll give you an example. When I have an office actually in the gym. It's got a co-working space in the gym, which I sometimes use. So of course you'd think, well, that's really easy to do your gym when you're actually there, much like a home workout. But I was like, my window for doing it, I did do that thing where I let the window I had written in my diary, it started getting smaller and I didn't do it. And I suddenly thought, what am I doing? I've got 20 minutes. 20 minutes is better than not doing it at all for the 50 minutes I had got planned. And I did do a PB in my chest press. That's all I managed to do, but I did something. And that in and of itself, if you're listening to that, really helps to keep your consistency going, because the minute you start missing a workout, you start missing something, it's really easy to just let that kind of snowball and just think, well, I've missed one, what's the point? I might as well just start afresh next week and then I'll get them all done. Do it 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and celebrate that small win. So I'd think about getting that jar, just jotting something down, throwing it in the jar every day at the end of the day, and celebrate what it is, whether it is, like you had one macronutrient rich meal. That's a win. You're creating progress. And then write down each week maybe what your milestone will be and reward yourself for that. If your milestone will be this week, I'm going to do all the workouts I've planned in my schedule. Think about, well, what am I going to sell it? How am I going to reward myself with that, and give yourself a little reward for doing that. New pair of leggings, new top, new sports bra, something like that. So in summary, the most important thing I think for all of us when we're really busy women is to really eliminate any decision fatigue about anything. You just want to be able to do the stuff that you really want to do that's going to make you feel good. So the 5-second rule, start using it. Start thinking about those habits that you have already and what can you add to that. Brushing your teeth, for instance, is a really easy one, because you brush your teeth. Then you're actually feeling nice and fresh afterwards. Drink your water, your first glass of water straight after that, before you have your coffee, your juice, whatever else it is that you have. Start trying schedule system, put it into maybe to start with, you don't schedule everything, but at least schedule one thing that is going to take you nearer to your goal of doing the stuff you said you're going to do a day. Think about your visual cues, your post-it notes, your something that, the other visual cues, for instance, can be something as simple as if you're going to do your workout and you're going to do it in the morning and you're going to do it at home or the gym, get all your stuff out. For those runners here, you know this one. Get all your stuff out and lay it down. If you're going out to the gym, get your keys, lay your keys down. If you're using your headphones, lay your headphones down. I'm not joking the number of times that I've run around in a flat swearing because it's taken me like 15 minutes to find my keys. So sort all of that out, get it by the front door so that you're ready to go. And there's absolutely no way your brain can start saying, oh God, I've 15 minutes wasted now. I might as well just forget it, because it will make you feel rubbish if you do that. So easy things like that, and then celebrate these small wins that you achieve every week. It's not about perfection, it is about progression. So after this call, I want you to go into the group and share one of these and how you're going to do it to use it this week. So thanks for joining me on the call. And now, if there are any questions about any of this or anything else, then yeah, invite you to come on now and ask your questions.
Hi.
Hi, who's that?
Hello, it's Kerry.
Oh, hi, Kerry. Hiya.
Hi there. Just a quick one. I was wondering, are we meant to do other exercise as well
Other
in terms,
exercise as
well,
well. What do you mean specifically?
so should we be doing additional, say, cardio, or is it sufficient to just do what you recommend?
It's what I recommend, which is personal to you. So everyone on
Right.
this call has something completely different. So my aim for you, because I think this is your kind of first week, is about you achieving what is set for you and doing those. And actually, for women in midlife, actually the strength work is the most important thing. Cardio, if your aim is weight loss, cardio is going to require additional carbohydrate intake. So that's going to affect things as well. So
Right, with you.
for sure, it's cardiovascular aerobic wise is important. But unless you've got a specific goal that you want to work on with me in terms of a running goal or a cycling goal, like some of the women I'm coaching, then no, it's really about you getting your strength work done and your step count up. And that is good.
Great, thank you.
Okay, no worries. Anyone else? Thanks, it's just ordered a form shaker. Use that excuse not to make protein shakes. You don't actually need you don't need the NutriBullet. Yeah, exactly. You just need to literally shake the drink. So when I am working away from home, I take the powder with me, and I actually just use my takeaway coffee cup and shake it in the coffee cup, and that works. As long as you put the water in first and then the powder on top, it works. Always make sure you do it in that way. Just ordered my shake mix if
Rachel, a
possible.
random question, because I
Yeah.
found another way. Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh,
I can hear you. Oh, you've gone.
sorry, Rachel. Yeah,
Yeah,
if you put like, oh God, what's
I've got
happening?
you. I've got you, Tor.
If you put hot water, if you put hot water with protein powder, does it kill the protein? Because
No,
so I can make it like a tea. I know it sounds a really sick thing, but it's quite. I tried it with like hot water as a kind of get in from school, have a cup of protein tea. But then I thought, am I killing the protein?
no, it should be good. I mean, like that chocolate one might even resemble some kind of hot chocolate in this cold weather.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, so that's good. Um, bring me water in the morning, not tea. Yeah, for sure. Says I over Christmas had an issue with them drinking too much coffee because Tom kept bringing me coffee when I was staying at his parents' house. And I realised afterwards I'd just not had water till like 11 o'clock. Um, so anything else from anyone else? Put in the chat all good if you're all good. Good. Okay. Great. Well, thanks for joining. And don't forget to head into the group and share one of those 5 things that you're going to do tomorrow and how you're going to do it. Have a nice evening.